of connecting with people, of seeing faces in environments where we can collaborate. And I feel like just to set the stage for what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be talking, and I'm going to try to focus on the camera as well up there, so all of you folks joining in on Zoom can also feel like you're welcome in this space. But I just wanted to acknowledge how grateful I am for everybody to join today. We're going to be talking today about relaunching your business, and really, if I can set the stage for one takeaway or goal, it's that you have a nugget of value that you're going to take from this class. You're going to implement it in your life, whatever area of your life that resonates with you after this discussion, and it can help you change the course of your business. So an important thing to recognize is that we're all at different stages of our business. We're all potentially in different businesses. I know that we're not all realtors who are joining in today. And so I want to make sure that we have some clarity around that this is not a traditional business planning clinic. We're not going to spend an hour running through an analysis of leads to closings. We've done that. Everybody's done that, right? We're going to talk more about what I would consider to be some of the big rocks or pillars around having a sustainable and successful and thriving business and life. What I believe to be sort of the key pieces to that equation are mindset, habits, and diligence in understanding and following your numbers. And so it would be foolish of us to not acknowledge that numbers matter. Obviously, numbers matter. But more importantly, setting numbers and setting goals at the beginning of a year when you do your typical annual business planning. We typically run our annual business planning clinics at the last quarter of the year to plan for the year to come. And one of the interesting things about that experience is that so few people reflect on the intentions that they set for the beginning of a year. So again, before I dive deep into the content, and there is going to be some slides that we'll put up so that folks can also follow along a little bit. You'll notice that there's no booklets. I didn't produce any paper content for this course, and the reason I did that is because my hope is that you'll take some notes for yourself and also be engaged here. So I really am looking to, and also to all you folks on Zoom, to engage in the conversation, because I feel like that is really going to be the magic that kind of creates the experience today. So if we have, how many folks here on the Zoom? Do we have a number count? 22. Awesome. And we have like 12 people in house here. So that's a really, really great turnout. In the interest of time, I apologize. I won't do a full, I had the intention to do a bit of a roundtable introduction, but I thought we were going to be working with a smaller group. So if I'll just introduce myself. I'll share with you a little bit about who I am, and then we'll dive into some of the other content. So for those folks that haven't met me yet, Connie Buna, I'm the managing broker. I'm also an active realtor in the office. I've been licensed since 2009. I have had, currently year to date, best year of my career. Who is having an amazing year right now? Fantastic, right? It's kind of hard in this market to not be having an amazing year. It's an amazing environment for real estate, despite it being one of the more bizarre experiences of anybody's life, I'm sure. I've been, if it's important to people, sometimes it's important to understand that the person who's giving you instruction has a little bit of credibility. So licensed since 2009, I've consistently been in the Medallion Club for the last 7 or 8 years, and I've been in the President's Club for the last 4 years. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because I want to share with you my journey, which I believe has some value in that I'm not from Vancouver, I'm not from BC, I didn't go to private school here, my dad wasn't a realtor. You know, sometimes you make excuses for why somebody might be successful and why you may not be successful. And one of the things that I have learned in my journey is that the most powerful impact to my business was aligning myself with people that supported me, pushed me, and held me accountable. The absolute game changer in my business. And so that particular shift in my business happened in and around 2013, 2014. And that happened when I got into closer partnership with my business partner, Roland Kim, whom you know, operating partner at the office, and an amazing inspirational person. And that change was around accountability in a huge way, and also around somebody else saying to me, you can do more. You know, it was that kind of coach style experience, and my personal experience, I respond really well to that. I've always been an athlete as a child. I grew up in that environment, and I did really well with that experience. So everybody has a different way that they resonate with what motivates them. But for me, having a person, a peer partner, say to me, what's your goal? Double your goal. You can do more. You can do better. And what I realized in reflection, and reflection is powerful. Reflection is a powerful tool. It's something that we don't often spend enough time doing, is actually thinking and reflecting on journeys. And one of the things that I reflect on is I had naturally just kind of capped myself at an income level and a production level that I thought was enough. And I was totally happy and satisfied. And I want to just acknowledge that I don't have a value judgment around what other people's goals are. They're so deeply personal, right? So if your goal is to do 10 or 15 transactions a year, and you have many other things going on in your business, in your life, amazing. That's great if that's your goal. And what I might encourage you to think about today is, what would your life look like if you doubled that goal, and your commitment was to not double the amount of work it takes to get there? And maybe you've heard that statement before, but I think it bears repeating, because it is remarkable. And for those folks in the room, and there are a number of us also on the Zoom that can speak firsthand to that experience. Charlie, I know you can. You can speak firsthand to the experience of being awesome at a certain level of production, and then something opening up in your life, in your world, in your business, and you increase your productivity and actually work hard to capture more time back. And that's implementing good systems, ensuring you have the right support mechanisms, ensuring that you're in the right environment to foster your success, right? I'm gonna try to get the, my tech support guy has left the room here, but I wanna try to share the screen so that we can get into the, Bernard, do you know how to do the
share screen?
Share screen. So we can get that.
Where's your PowerPoint part?
The PowerPoint is in, if you go here, it's in the Google. Yeah.
Roland, your tech support?
Yeah. And then, if you go to the presentation, right here. Wow, you're doing a great job.
I'm sorry, that's gonna leave a mark. And it's working, we can see it.
So I guess we have a little sidebar. Sorry to everybody on the Zooms, we're gonna lose you. We'll see Sean, there you go. So this is the roadmap for today. And so we're gonna talk a little bit about, you know, and I want you, again, this is the point of this experience is for your own personal reflection, okay? So just like in any training environment, I'm gonna share as much as I can. Ideally, we are all sharing as much as we can. And then, you know, really the intention and the point is for you to distill some of the content for yourself. So when we're reflecting here in section 1, I want you to be thinking about, why did you choose to get in the business that you're in? Why did you make that decision? And if anyone is open and inviting also the folks on the Zoom to chime in here, what are you hoping to take away today? And if I could have a handful of people share what their hope is for a takeaway for today, that would be amazing. Yeah, Kevin.
I've been the timing is amazing, and I wasn't even planning, maybe stole someone's seat, but I've been working on developing a process for growing our team, and I see what you guys have done, and I've seen large team scale, and I've seen what you guys have done in the way that you've done it. And so I'm just really hoping to kind of learn processes and ideas behind, or concepts behind leverage and different things like this that will help us to scale.
Okay, awesome. So concepts and ideas for systems and leverage. It's Kevin's hope for a takeaway. Anyone else? Anyone on the Zoom want to share their hope for takeaways today?
Sure.
Bill.
I'm looking for more focus, and I'm looking to take a smaller team and do really big business so that we all really know where we're going and what we're going to do. And we're very early stages of starting out. So I thought this perfect timing and so grateful that you're doing this for us. So yeah, to get our team up and going to the ability that we have the ability to do.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm reading. Apologies. I'm looking at a roadmap towards an early retirement.
Awesome.
Successfully in the next 10 years. So
Okay.
Just mapping out.
So a 10-year map toward retirement. Amazing. Thank you. RD.
I'm looking to take over Deanne's business when she retires.
Perfect. I'm glad you both attended today. It sounds like a match made in heaven. Amazing. Anyone else?
I would take over everybody's.
I'm looking to have a consistent level of business all year long.
Great. Consistency. Amazing. Thank you. Yes?
Actually, my big reason is I actually just lost my why.
Yeah.
So like I need to figure it out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you everybody for sharing with us. I want to talk a little bit today about one of the most powerful influences in my personal journey and in the journey of many of the leaders and successful business people that I follow, has to do with mindset. And we hear that a lot. We hear that kind of phrase a lot. But what I think is really important when we think about mindset is how mindset impacts literally every single part of your life. So I think about, for example, what it feels like when you get your real estate license. You're a brand new licensed agent. And I remember so well that feeling. I used to think in my mind, I don't have a job. That was my mindset at that time. Did anybody else have a similar feeling when they started out in real estate and they had no business, they had no clients, that they felt almost unemployed?
Yes.
Similar experience, right? And isn't that a very interesting way that our mind can impact our actions? Because if that's your mindset, then are you gonna pick up the phone every day and make contacts? Who am I gonna contact? I don't have anybody.
Nobody's gonna hire me.
Nobody's gonna hire me. I don't know anything. You know, and I think about, for example, maybe a powerful analogy that I experience personally is I get into a new fitness routine. I'm at the gym like maybe 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, gosh, I look good. I look fit. That's mindset. My body does not change. It's all mindset, right? One of the more powerful podcasts I've been listening to is a podcast called Think Like a CEO. Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. If you haven't had the opportunity to listen to this podcast, I strongly recommend it. Really, really, really awesome nuggets of value. But one of the things that they talked about is the mindset of wealth. And I'll acknowledge that we all come from very different experiences And we have different relationships to even the term wealth and the concept of wealth. And so I don't want to dive down a rabbit hole of the sort of ethical and moral implications of that label, but more I want to talk about the mindset of a wealthy person, wealthy in business, in spirit, in mind, in health. There are so many ways that we can think about that. And it's been written about time and time again about the absolute power of having the mindset that not only do you deserve it, but that it's coming to you. You know, that concept of money comes to me freely, leads come to me freely, business comes to me freely, all that is mindset stuff. And the fundamental difference for me around when I think a mindset game is a little bit like, that seems a little bit hocus pocus. You can't just hope and dream for business to come. It's that mindset and action together are a magical combination. There is power in getting up in the morning, I believe, especially now that we're able to be face to face. And instead of putting your sweats on, getting up in the morning and getting dressed and feeling and looking professional. That's why most people get up in the morning and dress professionally, because they want to convey to not only themselves, but also to all of the people that they're interacting with, that they're professional. They're ready for business today. I got up today and I ironed my shirt. I haven't done that in a long time. And I like ironing, actually. And I felt like I'm gonna iron my shirt today. I'm presenting in front of real people. It's very exciting. But the idea of mindset for me cannot be understated because it's something that everyone has control over. We all have control over the internal dialogue that's going on in our minds, with a caveat being that, you know, mental health is real, and many of us have had a pretty difficult 18 months. And so there is an opportunity right now in this awakening, in this relaunch, in this reintegration into society, for us to think about some of the ways in which we may want to change the internal dialogue that's going on in our minds. And we may want to reframe our mindset. Some folks like what we have, for example, on the back old wall. They like those inspirational quotes. It works for them. Some folks like meditation or some sort of religious reflection. That experience is powerful for them. They feel anchored to their spirituality and that impacts their mindset. That's really important. Whatever it is for you that impacts your mindset, is there a way in which you are focusing on that daily? That would be a takeaway question. What are you doing daily to check in with your mindset? And finally, in this particular section, as we're just getting started, I want to talk a little bit about habits. So if I can be back in this presentation. Oops, maybe just clicking there. Okay. So habits dictate who you are. That is absolutely and without question true. Your habits are who you are today, and the trajectory, they set the trajectory of who you will be. And one of the more powerful things that my coach has shared with me that really struck me is we have intentions, we have mindset, all those things matter, they do matter. And then we also have the actions. The actions are the habits, right? So if in my mind, I'm a successful business person, and my habit is to wake up every morning, put on sweats and watch 2 hours of television before I make my first telephone call, my habits are not supporting my goals and they're not in alignment with my mindset. So there's an opportunity for course correction. There's always an opportunity for course correction. But the truth about habits is that actually habits are very hard to change. I have been on a personal journey of trying to develop and continue to practice positive habits, some of which I am nailing at a high level. So my business habits are awesome right now. My fitness habits suck right now. I'll be totally honest. Because I had previously, and also my life balance habits suck right now. And that's because I had a habit of going to the gym as an accountability tool to hold me to my fitness goals. I did. I know Svetlana is very committed to her fitness. And one of the things that I'm sure Svetlana can share is that being fit is a lifestyle decision, actually. It's every single thing you do. It's getting up in the morning and stretching before you get your day started, or, you know, doing some squats, whatever it is. I'm sure you would have a lot of great advice. But what I know is that my previous habits were that when I wanted to be fit, I would go to the gym and I would hold myself accountable because it was expensive. And I booked that appointment, and I keep appointments, actually. That's one of the real habit pillars for me. If I book an appointment, I'm there. I'm not late, I'm there. And so that fell by the wayside when things went sideways in COVID and I was afraid of going to the gym. And the other thing that I realized in this year that has been incredibly busy is I also developed the incredibly bad habit of only taking a break when I left town. Who has that experience right now?
Oh, wow, that's so
Right? Yeah. And so one of the things that I'm starting to recognize or acknowledge around habits is that habits are, and I'll share with you that again, in this journey of trying to improve habits, one of the books that I've read that I brought in today to share, and it's on my reading list for today, is this book called Atomic Habits. And I've talked about it before, I believe, in our 4-on-1 sessions and potentially one-on-one with folks. Without a doubt, hands down, the absolute best book I've ever read around the mentality, the mindset, the psychology of creating habits. And in the book, James Clear really clearly breaks down that using sheer willpower alone is often not enough to get us there. It's good for a period of time, but then potentially we hit a plateau of success and we start to feel like it's not working anymore. Why am I doing this? My business hasn't changed. My life hasn't changed. My body hasn't changed. Why am I doing this? And we sabotage ourselves. Also, busy folks like ourselves often have the experience of saying, I don't have time. How could I possibly do this extra thing? I don't have time for it. And we will talk in one of our sections today around time management and scheduling, because I think that that's an important piece. But just thinking about the idea of how we develop positive habits, and one thing that I have taken away from this particular lesson is the concept of having an anchor habit. And an anchor habit is something you're already doing. Who wakes up in the morning, goes downstairs, makes a coffee, and spends 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes on the internet? Who does that? Am I the only person that does that? Yeah. I'm thinking probably a lot of us do that. We check our email, we check Facebook, we read the news, we go on Twitter. That's a habit. It's just a habit. I don't have to do that, but I've developed a habit that that's what I do. And so because that habit already exists, I can create a new habit that dovetails into that. And that's what his sort of theory or principle is if I integrate a new habit into that, for example, let's say I wanted to hold myself more accountable to my fitness goal. And I said to myself, you know what, I'm actually not going to check email, not going to check Facebook, I'm not going to do any scrolling on the internet until I've done my 20 minutes of whatever it is I'm doing. My 20-minute meditation, my 20-minute fitness, a manageable, simple time block. You have anchored it now to an existing habit. You have a exponentially higher degree of likelihood of succeeding or achieving that new goal. So that's a takeaway. And something I would recommend is if you want to make one change to your current habits, find one habit you're already doing and anchor to that one. Okay, so some folks also might have a habit of having the inbox open all day, and they just respond to emails, respond to emails, respond to emails, especially when we're busy and the market's busy and people want to know what's going on right now. And one of the things we understand about that experience is that if you're constantly responding, you're not ever doing anything strategically. You're being pulled off tasks all the time, and you're likely not performing with efficiency. And so how do you have a system or a business of leverage that allows you to grow? You have to control your time. That's step one. And it's a work in progress. I'm not speaking to you from a place of perfection by any stretch of imagination. Just more like we're talking about strategies and tips on how to achieve those end results. So again, I can't stress enough, the mindset piece is your superpower. We all have it. There is power in the mentality and the belief that you can do a certain thing. There is power in also reflecting. So they say, you know, experience is the best teacher. We've heard that before, that statement. And I've heard it reframed that experiences reflected on are the teacher, actually. If you just have an experience and you never reflect on it, you're going to keep doing it again and again and again. Here's a personal share. I can be so much better at tracking my interactions with my clients. So one of the things that I'm starting to reflect on is that now I'm 11 years into my business, and if I did a better job of tracking my interactions, I would be better able to, if a client contacts me out of the blue, pick up the conversation where we last left off, because I would have notes for myself. Wouldn't that be a powerful tool? Might that help you in your life and in your business? It would be amazing if we had a tool that could do that for us.
Oh, really?
And today I'm hoping that we can learn new strategies. I mean, every person that's in attendance today obviously is committed to their personal success and their growth, without a doubt, or you wouldn't take 90 minutes out of your day. And so I'm really hoping, again, one of the things that I realize about any training session, and Roland and I talk about this all the time, when we attend training, both of us lifelong learners, we have a deep passion for learning. We love it. We do it all the time. And I like attending stuff. And one of the things that I realize is sometimes, for example, when you go to like a big conference or a big event, it's a little bit like a fire hose, right? You might get a great nugget on that one day, day one, day two. And then by day 3 or 4, like you're kind of exhausted. You mostly just want to go back and implement those nuggets. So that's the purpose for why today is brief, is because I don't want to overwhelm folks with information. I'm wanting, everybody's unique. I want everyone to find one piece that resonates with them and then run with it. And then when we have another session, we can discuss how that's manifested itself in your life and in your business. Other areas of opportunity always in attending any training session, in attending any kind of a coursework, and also in reflection, creating new habits, is the opportunity of improving your skill set. That's why we're all here, of course. And these are never ending. They're always opportunities to improve your skill sets, your skills in scripts, your skills in negotiations. These are things you have control over, right? You can understand market stats to a higher degree. You can always improve your industry knowledge. So it literally doesn't matter what stage of the business you're in. These are areas of improvement. You can improve your systems, and you can improve your mindset. Every person in the room and every person on the call has this opportunity. talking about leading with intent, and again, I think this really speaks to, certainly it speaks to what Kevin was talking about as it relates to leverage and systems, but Roland, when you have a moment, I also would love you to share you have 3 or 4 Ds of managing problems. But one of the things we're going to talk a little bit about as it relates to time management is how you control the inputs, what's coming at you, questions that are coming at you, text messages. I know that we have a variety of platforms that people communicate with us. Sometimes it feels very overwhelming, and that feeling of overwhelm can derail your entire day. So thinking about always approaching your day with intention, I think, is a really, really powerful piece of a mindset game. Planning your day also involves, for example, listing the high value and low value efforts that you can do in any given day. You know, responding to a listing lead, high value or low value? High value, highest value. Responding to a realtor who has a question about strata documents, low value. Go read the documents, low value, right? Thinking about doing or eliminating the unnecessary, Kevin, I think this speaks to the concept of leverage. What are we doing in our day that actually has no impact in a positive way? Elimination of those unnecessary tasks can be a very, very simple tweak to your schedule, to your habits, that can have a massive impact. Automating necessary touch points and automating necessary actions. What's an automation of a necessary action that we can do as business people that would dramatically change our business? Who can name one?
Smart plan.
Smart plan. So sending clients communications in an automated way. What's another one?
Lead generation.
How do we automate lead generation?
Digitally. So through Facebook ads or
Okay.
Google ads, campaigns, social media processes.
But does somebody have to create the content?
Yeah.
And somebody has to schedule the post?
Yeah.
So it's not so automated.
It can be.
Okay,
We
And
can,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, we can combine both of those right now in Command. I'm not trying to have command breath all the time, but right now when we're running a campaign through Command, it can automatically now respond to every lead and instantly when it comes in. So we can automate that process. And
Anybody else can think about something that's a powerful automation? Yes?
Setting it up so your clients can get birthday cards all automated.
Yeah,
And
automated business
not
cards.
just like birthday cards, you can automate like
Yeah.
holiday cards and things like that.
Yeah, powerful change, nice impact. And then the fourth concept is delegating low value actions. What's low value actions? Who does their own taxes? Anyone?
Crazy.
27 participants. Anybody doing your own taxes?
Yeah.
Okay, low value. You are not, unless you're an accountant by trade, low value. If you spent all those hours on lead generation, you could find a transaction that will pay that accountant 3 times, 4 times over.
Include bookkeeping in there.
Bookkeeping. What about transaction management?
Mhm.
All the administration.
All the admin. It's not that it's not important. We just need to understand that we are business people. We need to stay in our lane. What's our job? What are the 4 pillars of our job? What are the most important high value business actions that we take? Can anybody name them for me?
Buy, sell,
Yeah.
drink.
Oh, yeah.
Lead generation,
Lead generation,
appointments,
lead follow-up,
Book
book
appointments,
appointments,
negotiate and
negotiate
Contracts.
contracts,
write contracts, and 5, script practice.
and script practice. But literally outside of those actions on one hand, absolutely everything else is secondary. And so what we think about when we're thinking about mindset and we're thinking about habits and we're thinking about schedule control is how do those 5 things get placed in my day when my motivation is at its highest. right? I know that for myself personally, my motivation is at its absolute highest in the morning. I'm a morning person. I always have been a morning person. So I am somebody that can get up at 5 in the morning and absolutely nail the first 3 hours of a day. Whereas if you asked me to do that work at 10 o'clock at night, I would fail. Because I don't do at nighttime, I am a sleepy bear and I'm done. I don't have any more juice in the tank. Whereas there are lots of people that's when they flourish. I can remember in the beginning stages of launching our brokerage, getting emails from Roland at 11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, like you just worked at night. That's your sweet spot. And that was when you could capture time. He also has 4 children. And that was when he had the ability to capture some time. So really thinking about, again, your absolute highest value, that's the step 1, list the high value efforts. And focus on them first. Those are the areas that you want to be building mindset and habit around. Yeah? Fight me. Oh, here we go. This is a fun section. Talking about your numbers. By a show of hands, looking at you also, folks on the Zoom. Who knows their numbers? Who can tell me year-to-date production numbers, like off the top? Anyone else? Is it because you've done so many transactions that you've forgotten what's happening? If you don't know your numbers, you don't know where to improve. Make sense? Numbers are so much bigger than production numbers too. So numbers are absolutely the pillar or foundation upon which we make or break not only our business, but our life. How many people have had the experience of having an amazingly successful experience in business and they're bankrupt? They didn't know their numbers. They either didn't know their numbers or they made really bad decisions, and sometimes those two are one and the same. However, for example, if you are spending time focusing on your numbers, what you will understand is that there are ways in which your numbers will impact your day. So for example, Roland and I were just talking about this morning. He was saying to me, gosh, I feel light on active business. And this is somebody who will spend, literally, I sit beside him, 2 hours to 3 hours a day making telephone calls to his database. Feels light on business. So my point in saying that is we all can do better at analyzing and understanding our goals and analyzing and understanding our numbers. One of the things that help us prioritize what we want to look at first is really thinking through like the most important things in our life, right? So when we do our business plans, where do we usually start? What's the number we start with that we build from? And the goal is usually GCI, gross commissions, right? So that's usually most business people start with that goal of earnings or profit first, and then we build out from there. Does anybody do planning in a different way? I'd love to hear that. So how do we set goals? I love the acronym of SMART goals. I feel like it's probably one of the best ways in which we can digest or think about numbers. SMART goals are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they have a time attached to them. X number of transactions in this period of time. When we're setting our goals too, there's a constant conversation about, and I know that some folks have come up against or felt challenged by the concept of like, okay, my goal is 25 transactions. And then your coach or your leader says to you, okay, 25 transactions, that's a good goal to have. What if it's 50? And I know myself personally, I've really had a hard time with that mindset and with that challenge, because I've always said to myself, well, It's impossible. Why would I do that? And the truth is, if you set a goal of 25, which is an achievable goal for you, you may not be pushing yourself hard enough. Imagine what it would look like if you set that goal at 50 and you did 45, and your goal had previously been 25. Might blow your mind. Might give you an opportunity to also do some reflection on what the heck happened that was different. Right? So really getting specific with the goals, I think, is probably one of the more important pieces to the planning process. Did anyone, before coming to the class today, review the business plan from the beginning of 2021? Does anyone have the ability to pull it up from some sort of a smart device at this time? No, nobody, everybody's looking at me like I'm not sharing this phone. Fine. All I'm saying is, it's an important opportunity of reflection to look at your numbers, to think about what goal did I set for myself? And here we are halfway through the year. Where am I? Like, that metric matters.
If you're looking for someone to share, I'm happy to share if that's what you're looking for. I didn't put it on that business plan, but I knew my numbers. I know what I'm looking for.
Please share. I think it would be helpful.
Yeah. So my goal was for 30 sales this year.
Okay.
And I've done 11 so far.
Okay.
So I know exactly what I have to do. And so that's why I'm working on systems and processes right now to elevate my standards right now.
Excellent. So you're just slightly under your goal, but you're not far away, actually.
Not that far, yeah.
Okay, great.
And I hit my goal already this year, so I'm just gonna take the rest of the year off.
That's a common thing that people do. And that's why you probably should have doubled your goal.
Right.
Good.
And a year, Charlie, really?
Here's something I've done, Charlie, because I hit my goal in May.
Slacker.
I hit my goal in May as well.
I hit my goal in May, and I didn't set my goal high enough. My business partner laughs at me. And I changed my goal, because what I wanted to do, similar to Charlie, is I wanted more time. I wanted more time back. And so I created a new goal. Concurrently with my own personal production goal, I created a referral goal. That's my new target. How many pieces of business can I refer to amazing realtors? And I'll make 50% of that commission. That's a great goal. That's a goal that motivates me, because it feels really exciting. That's where I want to go in my life and in my business trajectory, is let me inspire and assist other people in reaching their maximum success. We help our clients. We both mutually benefit. It's a real win-win-win. And there's always opportunities. I personally am a firm believer in abundance. So I don't have the mindset that I need it all myself. That's just not me. So Charlie, what are your thoughts? I love that you're sitting here in the front row. You hit your goal in May. So why are you here today?
Well, I heard there was
Oh,
sushi.
boy, this should be
I heard there was
good.
free lunch.
You're here for the lunch. Yes.
No, I'm here because, I wasn't expecting to hit my goal that quickly, obviously. And then I think part of what happened when that happened, I'm 75 now, so I know I don't. I'm 75 now, so I thought I should start thinking about semi-retiring. I'm actually 55, but then I have to start to think about it, because it was a hard fucking 4 months.
Okay.
But it was a hard 2 months. It was like we were in a war.
Okay.
And so I just realized that I'm getting tired of those wars.
Yes.
So I don't want to work that hard, right? But
Okay.
But I am here to work on to listen and talk and figure out how I'm going to. I'm not going to stop working, but to do, as you said, to work less and to just start enjoying the fruits of my labor.
Mhm.
I've been doing this for 18 years, right? And, so I'm just getting to that point where I got to figure out like what are smart things to do,
Mhm.
because I'm not doing a lot of the smart things.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm here. Those are the smart people like you.
Awesome.
Everybody else in here is smarter than me too.
Yeah. Is that are those your numbers? Please share.
So this is for one of my businesses, which is the coaching.
Mhm.
So my goal this year is to have 51 people in the coaching program.
Mhm.
I started the year at 15, we currently at 35.
Started the year at 15, currently at 35, goal 50. 51.
51.
You are on track.
Yeah, with that, dollars, if every agent does if 50% does one transaction a month, my dollars from that GCI should hit 212, and company dollars should be 424.
That's awesome.
So,
Thank you for sharing that, Ray. That's amazing. I want to talk a little bit about, so just to step back for 1 minute on the goal setting piece. So just in terms of setting your goals, we've all probably seen this because it comes directly out of the Millionaire Real Estate Agents Business Planning Clinic. This is readily available online through command. It's a really simple template on how to set your goals. You set your income goals, your GCI, your expenses, your cost of sales, number of METs or known contacts in your database, and the number of not METs, meaning farm unknown people in your database. And that will give you a calculation, and the ratios are all given to you, set on the model of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Setting your goals, I think, is always a powerful exercise, but really thinking about your schedule and whether or not your schedule is supporting your goals is a whole other conversation. So for example, who is implementing a strategy of time blocking right now? Who does that in their day? Awesome. Who's never heard of time block?
Where am I?
Yeah. Okay, so most of us are time blocking. And would you say that you are holding yourself to the time blocks, or are there things that kind of slip into the time block? Slip in a little bit into the time blocks. One of the things that really punched me in one of my coaching calls recently was, I was sharing with my coach that I was feeling super happy, my production is amazing, all that stuff is great, the businesses are running really well, feeling happy. Life is coming back to normal and COVID, all that is great, but I'm really struggling with my fitness goal. So I'm really struggling with my fitness goal. And she said to me, well, where's fitness on your schedule? Show me your schedule. It's not in there. You just try to fit it in.
Yep. Nope.
Just try to fit it in there. Like my lead gen, just fit it in, keep it on the side. And if it's not on your schedule, if I know for myself, it's not on the schedule, it doesn't exist, doesn't happen. So one of the things I've tweaked is in speaking to balance and in speaking to building out a more holistic life, because why else are we here but to have a good life, is I've started implementing a practice of scheduling my away time at the beginning of the year and constantly. So I'm always looking at my calendar, I'm looking at the months ahead and ensuring that I have time blocked, time off. So prioritizing the most important things first. Most important thing in my life is my family, without a doubt, absolutely no question. So I've time blocked. I've also, for the first time in almost 12 years, am taking a day off a week. That feels amazing. But I've never done that. I've always just taken the time of, oh my God, nobody wants to look at anything this weekend. Don't call me, don't call me, don't call me, don't call me. And I get a Saturday off, right? That's for years what I was doing. And I've started implementing Sundays. I take Sundays off now. And I've had not one moment of pushback, and I've not booked one appointment on a Sunday in like probably, how long have I been doing that, my partner? Like 6 weeks, 2 months, 2 months. Feels amazing. Yeah. I feel recharged. It's incredible what that feels like to just have, and I still get flack from my wife because I will acknowledge on Sunday morning, I typically get up early and just fire out a few things to put fires out. And then I spend the day enjoying myself. So I have improvements to be made, but it's on my schedule. I also have I have Friday afternoons that I spend with my kids. We do Friday, afternoon, Friday movies or whatever it is. It's in my calendar. I didn't have it in the calendar previously, and I kept booking stuff in there. And then finally, I just put it in there as a time block. It's in my color code for my family, and nothing gets in there. Because you know something? I'm not sure about you, but I don't double book listing appointments. What about you? I never double book a listing appointment. 2 appointments at the same time doesn't exist. How do you do that? And so I've started to acknowledge or recognize what I'm sharing is I've started to acknowledge and recognize that the time blocked appointment that I'm booking with my family is just as important, if not more important than that listing appointment. And I would never miss that listing appointment. Right?
Connie,
Yes.
how do you deal with, so I want to take a day off as well. How do you deal with texts?
Texts are hard because you don't have an auto respond option for a text.
Apparently it does.
You
I
can-
just found that.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is a hot lead. Can you share it with the room?
It's if you have an iPhone, we just tested it with Siobhan before she left.
Yes.
You can actually do it.
I'm away for the day, like an auto. I'm away for the day. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Auto. If someone texts
Okay, well,
something
that
like
for me would be a game changer.
Go in your settings and you'll find
But
it.
do you still have to hit the,
No, I don't think so.
because now you can, you can do an automatic response, but you still have to be like, hit
No.
that
No,
button to say, here's my auto
Charlie,
response.
no.
No,
No, you can just set it.
yeah, you can set it.
So yeah, that's something that I've struggled with is like the way, because we have so many different ways that people communicate.
Text
With
is
us?
worse, it's the biggest thing, right?
Text is hard because you can't read a text message and put it off. Once it's read, if I don't take action, literally I forget it.
Mhm.
Are you the same?
There's no reminder.
It's terrible.
No reminder.
Reply, I gotta reply,
I gotta reply, or else I'm gonna leave it sitting in there, and then you look like Roland, you have like 100 unread texts.
I've had those
Please,
too.
if you don't put your fires out on Sunday, because you said you take the day off, but you're not doing it completely, what is gonna happen? Is anything bad gonna happen from you answering those on Monday?
Well, you know where I can improve, and because I've reflected on that, and thank you for bringing it up. I can do a better job of setting an expectation on Saturday. That's where I can get better at setting the expectation on Saturday. I can also be more disciplined with putting it out of office. It's something I've struggled with. And I can get more disciplined in saying, what I've started doing is putting an auto responder on that Sunday to just set the expectation that this will be a delayed response. I don't say I'm on holiday. I just say, I'm very busy with other appointments today, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours. If this is urgent, please call my business partner, Allison. And then they have a number to call that they can take action. There are other things that I know for myself as a business person that I have to deal with that may kind of get in my holiday time. And so, you know, nobody's perfect. I'm acknowledging to you that sometimes, for example, there's a broker issue that comes up and Lynn's not available and Roland's not available and I take a call. I mean, it happens, right? But I think it's about more the commitment to yourself, to allow yourself to have the break. I know for myself, allowing myself to have the break makes me that much more motivated to work hard in the times that I'm working, right? Who is the most productive they've ever been in their entire life, like right 2 days before a holiday? The leads are coming in. Like it's on fire. The business is amazing because they almost can sniff that you're going on a holiday, right?
Yep.
And you're
Book a monthly
so
holiday.
productive. You get so much done. All the things that ever needed to get done are done because you want to close the door and head out the door, right? Yeah, you were gonna ask a question.
No, I was just wondering, I don't know where it is on the wall here, but it's something that I've always liked. I think that if you don't tell your clients how you work, they will not respect it either. So I think it's super important to have on your voicemail, on your email signature and everything, your hours of business. I have my Monday to Friday, 10 a.m., 7 p.m., Saturday, Sunday, 1 to 4 p.m. That's it. And you stick
That's
with
an
it.
amazing way.
Just stick with it. It's the answer.
Yes.
And then your clients, when they go on holiday, they don't ask you permission, right? So you don't either.
It's right there. You teach people how to treat you. And it is true. We do set so I've gotten better now. One of the things to speak to the systems and the leverage piece. One of the ways that I've gotten better, what I notice is the folks that contact me the most are buyers. Buyers contacting you at 10 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, text messages, just it seems to be the way it is. Your seller, totally chill. As long as you're proactively engaging and communicating to your seller, they're perfectly happy just existing. That's why listings rock, right? That's why we all want to have heavy listing business, because you have more power for leverage. You have more control over the conversation. With buyers, you need to teach them how, again, to be engaged with you. So one of the things I've improved, just to share my system, is that with every single buyer, with every new buyer consult, I explain to them that I work in a collaboration, in a collaborative environment with my team agents. So if you can't reach me, here are the people, the other folks that you can reach. And then I very clearly communicate, again, it's a script. I have a script on how I communicate engagement. Where can I improve? I can take a piece from Deanne to say, I take Sundays off to be with my family. And honestly, if you're a client that somehow bothers you, then we're not a fit. Go find somebody else to work with. I don't care. Right? But I can do a better job of setting the stage. Great takeaway. Thank you for that.
Hey, Connie.
Yes.
Hi, it's Phil. If I could throw one out there, the wonderful new tool we have, again, sorry for the command reference again, but on our KW Command websites and on the consumer app, which is working very well, there is a wonderful pre-built buyer guide and seller guide there. And you can customize it. It's all there so that you can literally go through it, and people, I've had a few people use it and have gone, oh, now I know what all the steps are. It literally has what's next.
Yeah.
All the way through that. And I'm teaching my new, especially like you said, buyers to use it. And I wonder what's next. I wonder what's next. The whole buyer guide and the whole seller guide is there for us. So just so you know.
Fantastic. Thank you, Phil. In terms of schedules and planning, who has seen this tool before? That's the 411. And then beside it is the GPS. I'll share a copy with you, Jonathan, so you can see this. This is something that I've only started using over the last few years. But what it does is it's a weekly planning tool. So GPS is your priority planning tool. What are your top priorities, and what are the strategies to allow you to hit your priorities? Right?
Is the GPS kind of like the three? I mean,
It is a
135.
It's a 135.
Okay.
It's a 135. Yeah. Your one thing for the year. So my one thing for the year, increase profits by 10%. My priorities, increase customer retention, adopt a new model for prioritization and accountability. And then priority number 3, promote current talent, exceeding expectations to new roles. So that's to improve my profit goal. I have 3 priorities to improve my profit goal. And then I have strategies under my priorities. What am I going to do to increase my customer retention? My first strategy is I'm going to meet face-to-face with my top 20% of my clients, my best clients. Who could do that? Like, who would say no to that? Mm-hmm. It's like any business person, anywhere. Awesome priority. Strategy number 2, conduct a survey of past customers over the past 12 months and identify their level, degree of satisfaction or areas of improvement for your business. So a GPS tool, phenomenal planning tool. So for example, we could all think about a GPS from today. What can I do to change the trajectory of my year such that I make one adjustment and improvement in this way, and then identify 3 priorities and the strategies around that. And then more importantly, as we're speaking about scheduling, this 411 tool has been a complete game changer for myself personally, because I'm a pretty, like, I've got a lot of different things going on at any given time. I'm busy, I'm active, and I'm not overly organized. Sharing all the dirty secrets with you guys today. So I have to write stuff down or I forget it. I have to. And so what the 411 allows me to do, I have my annual goals, my personal goals, and my professional goals annually. And that is a rollover, right? And that's also something that can change. Can we change our goals mid-year? Yes, we can. There's no rule that says we can't. Right? So, you know, Charlie's hit his goal. Can he adjust his goal to change or improve in other areas of his life that he wants to impact? Absolutely. That can be a priority right up here. Then you think about your monthly goals. What do I need to achieve this month such that achieving this is moving me closer to my targets for my annual goals? And then it's the weekly goal. What am I doing this week to hit my monthly goals, to hit my quarterly goals, to hit my annual goals? Does anybody do this? Anyone else in the room doing the 411s weekly? I know Dan is doing it.
I have.
Adi, are you doing it?
I had, but don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simple thing to do that makes a huge impact in your life. Because by doing this, I see you, I'll get to you right away. By doing this, you can start to schedule the most important tasks first, leading with intent, high value touch points. If my goal is, for example, my personal goal is to learn to meditate. For example, it's been on my goals list for a real long time. I might need to have a weekly goal to start, like do 1 5-minute meditation. And then I might have a monthly goal to say within that month, I've done 15 5-minute meditations.
I think this is your meditation, is to sit down in front of your 411 and do it.
I'd like to call it that. See, it might also be a fitness goal and picking up that pen.
See, 2 birds in 1 stone.
Using tools, like using systems and using tools that have a proven track record of success, allow you to not have to reinvent the wheel, right? Like, why reinvent the wheel? We know these systems exist, and that at a high level, really successful people in our environments are using these and impacting their lives by using these. So don't fight the moonlight. If you have something better that you do great, just keep doing it. It's just like a CRM or a client resource management. What's the best CRM out there? The one you use. That might be an Excel spreadsheet. For some people, that's what they use and they like it. Great. For others, it's other automated systems that feel helpful to them. And again, having a system in place is only as powerful as the opportunities to review that system and course correct, right? So for example, if I have annual goals in here and every month I'm looking at my numbers and my numbers are not helping me achieve my annual goal, you know, my unit count is not in alignment with achieving my goal, I need to start looking at my weekly actions. Am I doing some of the more important first steps? So myself in my business, it's client contacts. Am I having enough client contacts such that I'm writing enough contracts, such that I'm closing enough units of business? The client contact is the lead domino. In all areas of our life, we have a lead domino, right? Who's read The One Thing? Most of us. Amazing book, so easy, so simple to read. And the whole premise of the book is, what's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary, right? So very, very simply for most business people, it's clients. How do I get in front of more clients? Without clients, there's no business, unless you're selling like one-off widgets. That's not the business that we're in, right? Amazing. Any other thoughts on this piece? Does anybody want to share anything that they're doing to a high degree? Artie, you had something to share?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I do my 401s and as I start to achieve my goals, I find I have more room to have more goals in different areas of my life. Maybe Charlie, now that he's achieved his goals for the whole damn year, maybe look at other areas of your life that you might have goals that you want to achieve in, and maybe focus. And maybe it doesn't have to be business. You can focus on something else that's important.
Nice.
It's not all about business.
No, it isn't. That's the thing. It's, you know, there's a really powerful a powerful quote that's, you know, money is only as good as the good the money can do, right? Like, it's all great to be working and working and working and making lots of money. That's amazing. But if you're never enjoying your life, if you're not spending any time with your family, if you're not spending any time with your friends and your community, what's it for? Doesn't make any sense, right? Anyone on the Zooms wanna, oh, Rick,
I
please.
was just gonna say, it should be for a life by design.
Life by design, that's it. Anyone else on the Zooms wanna share?
You drink that Kool-Aid. You can be wealthy, but it doesn't mean you're healthy.
That's it.
I just came up with that. You can use it anywhere you want.
So in terms of thinking about numbers, I've spent some time thinking through the concept of profit. So if we're business people and we're not focused on profit as the key priority of our business, we might be doing something incorrectly, or we might be out of alignment, right? Because if I make 200,000 GCI a year, and my expenses are like $120,000 a year, is that a business worth running? 70,000? No, it's a terrible life. It's too much liability. It's way too much risk. It's too much volatility. We have the ability to write our own paychecks, right? We're in an industry and in a business that has no limits, literally. And so, again, starting with the most granular, thinking about the concept of profit first, and there's a great book called Profit First. Can never pronounce the gentleman's name, but look it up. It's on the internet. And one of the things that if I can distill the book in like 3 sentences, before you pay your expenses, you take your profit. You take it first. It's that concept of pay yourself first. It's the wealthy barber. It's the rich dad, poor dad concept. Pay yourself first. Run your business based on what you can afford today, not what you hope to be able to afford someday. When profit comes first, the focus, and is the focus, and it is never forgotten, your business changes. Certainly. You know what that sounds a lot like to me is the concept of red light, green light. That's another fundamental principle of what we learn in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. What does red light, green light mean? Who can explain it to me? I know you can.
Oh, you want me to? Okay.
Please do.
Yeah. So red light, green light is you analyze your before you add any additional business model or expense, you analyze what you've got on the dockets right now.
Yeah.
And if what you've got on the dockets right now allows for that to happen, then basically you would be able to add that.
Yep.
And then you measure it.
Yes. And you hold your spend accountable. So part of being a business person is holding your expenses accountable. So for example, again, sharing all of the dirty secrets in my closet, I can do a better job of analyzing my expenses. That's been something that's been an ongoing piece of conversation with my business coach yesterday. Not yesterday, in these days. And in fact, yesterday we had a coaching call, and my accountability piece with her was I was to have reviewed my expenses, to have a discussion with her about my expenses. And I actually canceled the call. I canceled the call because I hadn't done my takeaways. And I've been thinking about it ever since. So one of the things that for me is an important reflection is that how do we analyze our expenses? There are a few different ways that we can analyze expenses as business people, but most of us, for example, very few expenses are being paid by cash, right? So step one, as a business person, most of us in the room and on the Zoom have likely already done this, but if you haven't, it would be very basic to say that you have separate bank accounts for your personal expenses and your business expenses. Yes, great.
Separate credit cards.
Separate credit cards too. Keep everything totally separate. Because by keeping it separate, what it allows you to do is it allows you to very clearly say, okay, every quarter, if you're doing some data review, you're looking at the credit card statements from the business account. You're looking at the bank account from the business account, and you can reconcile expenses and income, profit and loss. Very, very straightforward analysis, typically. Other things that we can start kind of layering in as we're thinking about and looking at those numbers, and as you're thinking about your business planning, and one of the things that has become very important to me is like the intentions that we're setting with money. Are we earning, making money just to stockpile it? Or have we set specific and measurable goals for the impact that we want to make with the money that we earn? So for myself personally, I have like I have a giving back category in my business plan where I want to keep growing that piece. Actually, I feel very passionate about that ability, that I can earn money and live a great life and have a thriving business and a healthy family, and also help other people get there too. So that's part of setting goals with intention. Who is analyzing profit and loss? Is anybody doing that in a way that they might consider to be successful? You are? Do you do that monthly, quarterly?
It's by month and year to date.
So you just have a rolling spreadsheet?
Yeah, a Google sheet.
A Google sheet.
In fact, it's being updated today, right now. I left my wife updating it for me.
Okay, so your wife is involved in that with you. She has line of sight into your business, and she actually helps you and she supports you in following and tracking those numbers. That's awesome.
I do it annually just for when I do my taxes.
Yep. And then do you ever make any changes? Like, do you look at? Okay.
That stuff,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. Sometimes you're spending money that isn't necessarily making you money. So
yeah,
I just find because the account breaks everything down, it's like, okay, this is what I need to do.
Yeah. Great. Artie?
I stopped being a damn disaster when it came to it. After the end of last year, I came up with a system to put in all my expenses every month.
Yep.
Like getting everybody email me receipts.
Yes.
Get them to email receipts, guys. It's great. A lot of places can do it.
Yeah.
And setting up a bunch of automatic like labels that my receipts will go into, and then just compiling things quickly on a spreadsheet and going, oh, I don't need that, and canceling things that I don't need, which is very easy when I know what those things are doing and I'm getting them automatically labeled in my inbox.
Yeah. Thank you. That's great. Yes, Jen.
Into the delegate part of the lead that you had earlier, I really like that acronym. That was really good.
Yeah.
I hired one of my nieces to just do my bookkeeping monthly.
Yes.
And I just fire her everything, and then monthly I see where I am with just a very basic Excel spreadsheet.
Yes.
And it's great.
Yes.
I use mint.com.
Yes. Yeah, I use Mint for my personal expenses. It's phenomenal. Great. So that's just a simple online tool, mint.com, that helps you categorize your receipts. And it's also intuitive. You can set it, right? So that if you have, a 3D immersive charge, you always allocate that to photographs, listing photography.
And you can run reports, you can do a lot.
Excellent. Thank you. Svetlana.
I think it's very important to have a budget if you can work your life with budget, because we have lots of payments we do on a regular basis. And most important, if you can pay your bills, credit cards fully on the end of the month, so you don't have any extra charges.
Yes.
It will be much easier for
Yeah.
you and for bookkeeping purposes.
100%. Yes, exactly. Phil, please.
I was just gonna say, and I posted it in the chat for the people online. I use Quicken, much like Mint, but you can set up a yearly budget. But I love the fact that it reaches my bank, downloads everything into each account, and I just go, oh, that was personal, that was business, that was this, that was that, and then it automatically starts to do it. So it's like $100 a year, really powerful.
Thank you. And the final comment, as we're talking about numbers and we're talking about budgets and we're talking about profits, a concept that is new to me, but I've been spending more time reflecting on and learning about, is the idea of, and this, Dan, speaks to the takeaway goal that you have, and perhaps Charlie, it resonates with you as well, and it might resonate with everybody actually, It's something called an enough goal. At what point in your life do you have enough? And the enough goal is something that many of us, I know myself included, spend actually no time thinking about. I had previous to learning about it just within the last probably 4 or 5 months, I had never even heard of it before. And the concept is, at what point do you have, I mean, it's not that income or wealth or business is stopping, but at what point are you feeling like, great, I've achieved some really amazing targets. And that might be the target that you need, for example, to just think about retiring, changing the trajectory of the business, handing the business down to an associate or to a member of your family that you're transitioning business over to. What I think is powerful about that enough goal, I know that for myself personally, if I don't think about and set that goal, my natural disposition is to keep grinding without any clarity or focus on what I'm grinding for. The only thing we focus on when we're in that mindset, in that rat race, in that cycle, is the next thing I want to buy. I want to buy a boat. I want to buy a car. I want to buy another paint. I want to buy another property. Without understanding the bigger picture, there's no judgment around wanting to acquire nice things. It's nice to have nice things. But are those nice things getting in the way, for example, of an opportunity for you to have more time back in your life? Like the most precious and valuable thing we can give ourselves is time, right? It's precious. Ask absolutely anyone in the entire world ever, maybe Jeff Bezos aside, what's the most important thing in your life? You know, folks that they've done studies of people on their deathbed. What do you wish you had more of? I wish I spent more time with my family. I wish I spent more time with my children. I wish I spent more time at the beach. I wish I did this. I wish I did that. It's all related to control of time. And so with clarity of focus around that enough goal, that 10-year goal, whatever the goal is for you, you can build all of these plans around achieving that big picture. And that's one thing that I think is often missed in the business planning process, is we look at the annual goal, that's great, it's amazing, but the annual goal, especially for independent contractors, we must factor in a retirement plan. We're either planning for ourselves or we're working until we die. And that sounds awful to me. Right? Has anyone been doing planning, retirement planning or otherwise around a big picture goal? I'd love to hear anyone's experience or thoughts around this. Anyone online?
Connie, I never was until I listened to, and thank you again from you, the Think Like a CEO. And they started talking about, I think they used it as a freedom number.
Yeah.
And it looks like you saying, what's enough, that freedom number? And I just went, oh my God, that's it. So it has motivated me to move forward towards that.
Yeah. And they did position it as a freedom number because that's what it is. The other thing that I've read, and I see you, Lynn, one of the things that I've read a lot about is the concept of like, what is wealth actually? Is wealth the most amount of money in your bank account? Or is wealth having total control over your time? Everybody might think about that a little bit differently, but I know that for myself, ultimate wealth is total control over my time. Getting up in the morning and doing exactly what you want, not what other people want you to do. And that's a huge shift of mindset. And the mindset also needs to be reinforced by the realities of the world that we live in. Without money, we have a very, very, very uncomfortable life. That's true. Right? Then please.
I think I have to say, this is my 14th year in real estate. And before I came to Keller Williams, I never really knew my big why. I always thought, yeah, I want to make this amount of money, and I want to afford that beautiful motorcycle, and I want to do this, but I never had the big why. And, you know, here I come to Keller Williams, and I'm in like the business planning sessions and all of that, and my mind is getting blown away.
Mhm.
And I really took the time to sit down and think about what's my big why. Okay, so it's not necessarily about money, but it is about time, and maybe a little bit, but it took me a while to do that, and I feel that I am on track now, and I'm making different decisions
Yeah.
because of it.
Yes.
And yeah, it's made a big difference. It's made a big difference in my life.
So having, if I can distill what you're saying and just maybe ask a couple more questions. So having clarity of focus on a bigger reason or a bigger piece of motivation has changed the way you do business.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, as I said, I'm making different decisions. You know, I'm looking at different options to not just, you know, increase the number of transactions I do every year.
Yeah.
Because yes, I want my business to get better, obviously, but other ways to generate momentum towards those goals.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, so this year, last year, I think we kind of starting and then again this year. So I have sat down with my wealth manager, Andrew Dick, who's part of the office, but anyway, and just me and my wife just really sat down because I'm starting to think about not retiring, but semi-retiring. I am getting tired.
Yeah.
So I want to be untired. And so I just think sitting down with somebody like that, even if you don't have any money at this point in time,
Yes.
is phenomenal because it really just clarified. Well, first of all, it clarified to me that, yeah, I actually have more options than I thought I did. Putting money away on my apartment and stuff, but it's like, okay, I could probably retire today, but I like to drink and do a lot of other stuff. So I probably couldn't afford to, but I like to travel as well. And my son is 13, so I'm like, okay, well, playing at least at university, I'm just going to keep going at it.
Sure.
But I think if you haven't had that opportunity to sit down with somebody and he's really good at it, he doesn't care if you don't have money to run the best with him, because he just likes to do this for people and hopefully long term. But it just blew my mind because I never really had anybody really do that with me before, to a point where I'm like, okay, if this makes sense and I'm actually doing okay. I'm always not hard on myself because I see some of my friends or some of my relatives that are like my age and they're all freaking multi-millionaire retired.
Yes.
Could retire. I would set myself against them. I'm like, you know what? I'm actually in a pretty good place.
Yes.
It gave me some confidence, and it's like, yeah, I'm not doing so bad. And
Yes.
so I would suggest anybody to do that with a professional. That's my thing in the future.
Thank you. Yes.
Just a few comments with regard of the abundance that you were talking about earlier. I think a few of us has followed prior to your session, Connie. There was Marvin and Gary that were doing something about investing, and two things stood out for me, which I did not know. 95% of Canadians are employees, 5% only are self-employed. So we have an amazing amount of abundance of clients out there. And I don't think that will run out anytime soon. And I forgot everything else I wanted to tell you.
No problem. I appreciate it.
That's writing down.
I have a note for myself. A few key points that I think are powerful to share, and I will share them. There's no success without sacrifice. There's no success without sacrifice. It's absolutely true that sometimes you look at somebody that's achieving or nailing it at a high level and you think to yourself, damn, if I was only born that fit and that strong, gosh, I would be at the gym every day too. Well, if I had all the things that Joe Blow has, I'd be pretty happy too. And the truth is, what we don't see, and we've seen that, probably you've seen that image maybe online around the success iceberg, what you see in success and all the other things that you see below it. And one of the things that I think is really consistently true is that people that are achieving at a high level are making sacrifices in some areas of their life, in some areas of their world. So it's really just important to acknowledge that all of us do that in some way or another. We make sacrifices to achieve something else. And another thing that I thought really resonated with me, ordinary things consistently done produce extraordinary results. It's a Gary Keller quote. And it really is the defining difference between success and failure. It's just as simple as it's just consistency. So it also speaks to, again, it kind of speaks to the concept of the Pareto theory, the 80-20 rule, that 20% of the business is conducted by 80%, 80% of the business conducted by 20% of the people in the business. And it's because it's those people that have those very consistent habits again, that can actually achieve the results required. Thinking about we're at basically the finish line of our session today. And so I just want to do some recalibration, and I want to talk a little bit about the final step here, where we're thinking about intentionally setting goals, doing our key activities, measuring our results, evaluating our processes, and making adjustments. This is a step-by-step recipe for success in any area of your life. You set the goal, you do the key activities to achieve the goal, you measure. How am I doing? Do I need to make adjustments in the activities I'm doing? Do I need to make any changes in my process? Adjust accordingly.
Rinse and repeat.
So we've talked about the income generating activities. If you didn't have an opportunity to write those down,
Come to school practice.
script practice. Number 5, script practice. The 3 pillars of success, my humble belief. We write down the major outcomes every day. Writing and reviewing significant outcomes allows you to focus on the most critical tasks in your day. Without reflection, you have no idea what's happening. You're just operating in the silo. Planning, I cannot understate the power of planning your day, your week, your month, your quarter, your year. Planning is everything, absolutely everything. And things sometimes don't go according to plan, and that's okay. We can always course correct. But setting the intention and having the plan in place sets you up for success. And then finally, external accountability. I know myself personally, I shared this with you at the beginning of our session today, but without external accountability, I genuinely believe I wouldn't be able to achieve the results that I achieve. And I'm learning also that there are many areas of my life that I require accountability, and I thrive with accountability. Holding myself accountable to my family time blocks. My partner does an amazing job of that. Get home.
Where are you?
Ordinary things consistently done produce extraordinary results. That's by Keith Cunningham. I also brought Keith's book in because this is another book that I believe is probably one of the best books I've read around the discipline of thinking time. The book is called The Road Less Stupid. It is a very easy to read, digestible book with for my attention span, the perfect amount of content in each chapter. So a couple of pages of content and then a bullet point section of key takeaways and questions. Amazing. For me, I work really well in this kind of twirl. Again, I cannot stress enough that the most important piece of our business as business people is generating leads. If you do not follow a lead generation model and you're just leaving it up to happenstance, you are setting yourself up for failure. Every lead is a good lead. If you've heard me teach the lead generation course, I've said this a million times, and I'll continue to say it. Every lead is a good lead. It's just about how you qualify and categorize and classify that lead. May not be somebody that does business with you, but you can assure yourself that that lead knows people. So if you are doing your scripts and you have a great way to have conversations with those people, lead generation and database management will be a game changer in your business. And that's directly from the lead generation model in Millionaire Real Estate Agent. These are not for me. We talked about the 80-20 rule. I thought this was a very interesting stat. Who's been in the business 5 years or longer? Okay, nice. Got some staying power here. According to a 2014 stat from the National Association of Realtors, 87% of real estate agents fail out of the business within the first 5 years.
99% in the first 10.
99% in the first 10. Holy smokes. Maybe they've made so much money in the first 10 years they don't even retired. Jeez Louise. I just thought that really resonated with me. And one of the reasons why that upsets me when I see that stat, and something that I've reflected on a lot, is I think that in a way the business is set up for failure. We don't have, our business model at this brokerage is fundamentally different than virtually every other brokerage around, because our business model is predicated on the success of our agents, whereas every other brokerage business model is predicated on a number count. Don't care who you are, don't care how much business you make, pay me $1,000 a month. Thank you very much. And it's the real estate industry is fed on churn, turnover. So if you don't take an active interest in succeeding in this business, the odds are stacked against you. That's the truth. And so I appreciate and want to acknowledge that you're here for a reason. You're here to change the course of that trajectory and be the small percentage of people who will remain in the business in the next 5 years. All right. So we're at the end here. What's one thing that you can do today, leaving this session today? This is a personal reflection question that you can do today, such that by doing it, you're going to change the course of the remaining 6 months of the year.
411 and GPS, and then use those for my follow-through processes, everything else I want to do.
Okay, so you're going to implement the weekly 411
Yeah.
and monthly GPS. Yeah. Amazing. Karina.
Using an anchor habits.
Anchor habit. Wonderful. Thank you. Yes.
Time blocking
Time blocking.
for each of the areas. So.
Great. Thanks, Darmesh. Thank you.
More leveraging.
Okay, for leverage, bringing more people in to support your business.
Tracking.
Tracking. Thank you. Awesome. Anyone? Yes.
I'm gonna sign up for Mint. I need to know how much I'm spending.
Yeah. Good. Anyone else on the Zoom want to share the one thing they might be taking away today?
I got one. I just scheduled an accountability meeting with my team for Monday and Friday mornings every week at 8 a.m.
Nice. Thank you. Anyone else? There's 28 more people on the Zoom. Everybody's sleeping. Write out your goals.
Time blocking.
Time blocking. Thank you, Michael. Great.
Does my audio work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The 411 for sure. Absolutely. Doing that. And accountability meetings with Phil now bi-weekly.
Nice. Thank you, Kyle. Awesome.
Make them buy breakfast.
All right, team. If you want a copy of the slide deck, I'm happy to share that out. If you feel like there's some powerful nuggets on there, I'll share it away. And I want to thank you so much for attending today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.